Hello and welcome back, and I'm here with a lot of news and updates, so thank you for tuning in. So first, we're going to start off with a story that a lot of you have been talking about. As we know, Prince Harry was in the UK for the coronation, and we have seen a lot of feedback from the first official portrait of King Charles. So that was unveiled, and Buckingham Palace tweeted the photo, as well as the royal family's social media, in which we see the monarch posing with his crown, scepter. These, among other images, are what will centralize and forever symbolize the beginning of King Charles's reign. There are a couple of other images where he is with his wife and the other senior working members of the royal family. Now, it's interesting how the conversation has started to shift from Prince Harry and Meghan being irrelevant, being the black sheep or sidelined, to a very interesting take that is emerging. So I want to cover that, especially as we look at this image of the senior working royal members and how the public have started to react to that, as well as the pundits and those who are the royal commentators and experts. You will be fascinated by their take. So let's focus on this image, which was the fourth one released by the palace. This is of King Charles, his wife, flanked by working royals in quotes. And we can see here in the image, we have pictured from the left Prince Edward, the Duke of Kent, Bridget, Duchess of Gloucester, Prince Richard, the Duke of Gloucester, Vice Admiral Sir Tim Lawrence, who is the husband of Princess Anne, William, the Prince of Wales, Catherine, the Princess of Wales, Sophie, the Duchess of Edinburgh, the Honourable Lady Ogilvy, and Prince Edward, the Duke of Edinburgh. This was in the throne room at Buckingham Palace in London. So as you've seen by the title of this video, it's going to be very Harry-centric. I went on the royal family's social media on Instagram, and they have limited their posts. Now I wondered why, because all of the pundits have been saying that, the whole event went well, the crowds came out, which was true, the crowds did come out, and they kept on reiterating the positive feedback on everything that has happened, from Camilla as well being called queen. And I went on the social media to find it so surprising that they have limited comments on their posts. This one in particular has been quite interesting to see the feedback on this. And everyone's asking, why isn't Harry a part of this official portrait? People are asking, where is he? People reminding Charles, this is your son. People are saying the photo seems incomplete. Look, I'm just going to show you here a screen grab of all of this. The comments just as they came up. I was not selecting or pre-selecting the ones that were favorable to Prince Harry. This was just people talking, and you are seeing it right here, asking, how is it possible that Prince Harry was not included? And also people backing up Harry as he said he was seen as a spare. Just a lot of, I would just say, backlash on the fact that Harry was not included. People saying, where is unconditional love? People reminding King Charles that he had opened up about his childhood troubles in an authorized biography where he discussed, quote, emotionally distant parents, in quotes, before his son Harry also did the same. Long before, we all know, the Jonathan Dimbleby book, written with Charles's full blessing. So, people are asking, why is Prince Harry not here? And I looked at so many of the posts that were coronation-centric, and the same, a lot of backlash, a lot of people pointing out things that they did not like. So it's quite interesting. As the royal correspondents have been looking at this image, and by the way, I'm not being ageist at all, for those who have committed themselves to serve in the royal family, that's them. So I'm not calling out people based on age. I just want to keep this focused on Prince Harry. So with that said, the royal commentators were talking about the fact that, a lot of people in this photo were over the age of 70. So I wanted to share an excerpt with you, which you will find quite interesting as they mull over these images and the future of the monarchy. This article caught my attention. They said this, quote, "After the unqualified success of the coronation weekend, an awkward truth has now started to occupy the minds of image makers in the royal household. Assuming the king and queen enjoy the sort of robust health of their predecessors, there may not be another major royal occasion for 20 years or more. In the past, the monarchy has been able to rely on births, marriages, jubilees, and coronations to top up their popularity every decade or so. But we are now entering potentially the longest period in our history without any of them. The king will not have his major jubilee until 2047 unless the royal family break with tradition and make a fuss of his 10th anniversary on the throne. The Prince and Princess of Wales are not expected to have any more children. Prince George is only 9, meaning it would be 2 decades or more before he is ready to marry. Courtiers are already talking about the long haul, in quotes, of a reign uninterrupted by set-piece events. Trooping the color may be a welcome opportunity to polish the armor once a year, but it certainly does not attract a TV audience measured in the billions, nor does it merit a street party." And tying this all back in with Prince Harry, even the Daily Mail, speaking of the coronation portrait, noted that the family shot included only 4 people under the age of 70. So that in itself will present a different type of challenge for them moving forward, not only in terms of how they relate to the youth, but also in realistically covering all their calendar events in the year. And it also brings back an article that one of you pointed out that made me just chuckle. Get this. Quote, "Meghan and Harry disappointed King as he was relying on their superstar status," says expert. So they said, according to Russell Myers, His Majesty is crestfallen following Megxit, as he was relying on the Duke and Duchess of Sussex to be a part of a slimmed-down monarchy using their superstar status. And yet, remember, a lot of these commentators and royal experts were the same ones saying that Harry and Meghan would slip into obscurity and how, they were just now celebrities. Monarchs and royals, they're a cut above mere celebrity. And that's me paraphrasing. And yet, for sure, even the worst critics of Harry and Meghan have to acknowledge that they are huge figures of interest and the cameras love them, love to follow them. They just have that it factor, right? And when you look back at that coronation portrait, it was kind of missing that special thing that Harry and Meghan would have potentially brought to them. And they've pointed out in that last piece that I read, the royal family, they do need that. As much as they've spoken about the slimmed down monarchy, it seems that a lot of these pundits and royal commentators are starting to acknowledge something that a few had seen a while back during the funeral of Queen Elizabeth. And I read this to you. And let me just refresh our memory on what was published. And this was on the Mail. It said, quote, "Here Harry was being shown his rightful place in the House of Windsor, should he ever wish to return and pick up the threads of his royal life. What is clear is that he is not, at least not yet, being treated as the royals once treated another former much-loved figure who chose exile over duty, King Edward VIII, and his wife Wallis, who was always denied an HRH title, who was never truly welcomed in Britain after the abdication." And the author pleads with Harry, quote, "Does Harry realize that? Can he even see the distinction? Surveying now the thinning ranks of frontline royals, even he must realize how much his father, a pensioner king, and his brother need him," end quote. The article goes on to say, quote, "But opportunity for members of the royal family rarely knocks more than once. Between them, his father and brother have offered him, talking of Prince Harry, a way back, and he has had more than a glimpse of the life he left behind. There is a pragmatism here on Charles's and William's part. They need him. Slimming down the royal family is all very well, but in just 2 years, it has lost much of its firepower. The disgraced Andrew, the absent Harry and Meghan, and now the Queen. Soon, these royal cousins, the Gloucesters and Kents, who did much of the unsung heavy lifting, are likely to retire. There will be a need for more working royals, not fewer. So this author was pleading with Harry. This is from the Mail way back during the funeral of Queen Elizabeth. They could see that with the Queen gone, a lot of the family's, as he called it, firepower was greatly reduced at that time. Of course, the Queen, as we all know, a lot of people had respect for her. A lot of deference was shown to her. And now the author of that article is pleading for Prince Harry to have a way back. Commentators, and as the article that I read to you put, the image makers in the royal household are starting to realize that something else is needed, and that something is what Prince Harry had. And for those who may even say that perhaps this is a lot of bias, no, even it seems the public, the general public, seem to notice that Prince Harry is quite relevant and loved, and he is a treasure and a star for that family. It seems that the general public have also realized this. And this is backed up by a poll in the most interesting of all places, The Express, who asked, "Who was your favorite royal during the coronation weekend?" The first time someone screen grabbed it, it was Prince Harry leading at 42%. And the last time I saw a screen grab of their poll, Prince Harry was leading by 67%. After him came Prince William at 10%, then Catherine at 7%, King Charles at 5%, Princess Charlotte at 3%, Princess Anne and Prince Louis at 2%, and Camilla, Prince George, and James, Earl of Wessex, and other at 1%. So there we have it, people in a poll that is by The Express saying that Harry, was their favorite royal during the weekend. So what does that mean? That's a consensus vote that Harry is needed, Harry is a part. So now Charles, the court, and the British press are confronted with a reality, and that is the Sussexes. And Prince Harry, who in particular has always been in their midst. Harry, who is an irreplaceable key part of any team, who is, much like his mother, a global prince, a prince of people's hearts, too popular, and right now he is in the US, where they just love having him, and I'm talking about people all across society's spectrum in the US, not even touching on the US press, who have just lucked out that he is in their backyard. So Prince Harry isn't, as they had originally planned, solely benefiting Charles or the UK press right now. And it's like they're now tasting reality without the Sussexes, and regret is starting to set in. So what now? As predicted, there has been a push for Prince Harry to return. And why should he? I know some of you are asking, those of you who've been watching the squabbling that has been playing out in the press between the palaces, in some of the stories that have been out in the tabloids and in other types of media. I can hear some of you asking, Harry and Meghan stepped away from all of that, so why go back into that toxicity, right? Many wouldn't, perhaps. Perhaps you wouldn't. But I wager that many of you listening to me have not been raised as a prince in the British royal family. This is where the sticky issue comes in. But Harry has. And with that comes its own issues and obligations. And I'm here to tell you guys that if the regret gets too unbearable as they watch the best and the world's favorite prince living his best life across the pond, not benefiting them at all, then there is a way that the institution could push to have Prince Harry and Meghan back. Now I know some of you are saying never. And I'm telling you right now, it's not never. And I want to keep it real with you all, that there is not only a huge way that they can get Harry back. In fact, it's not only a huge way, it's gargantuan in scale of how it's very possible for them to have Prince Harry in particular and Meghan back. And I know for some of you, you don't want to hear this, and that's why I'm pleading with you just to listen through to the end of this video. We all want the best for the Sussexes, but I'm here to keep it real. I'm here to keep it 100 with you all. And I did put this out here for a lot of people who think that Prince Harry is going to throw that part of his life away. And as much as he has intended and has signaled to people that he has moved on, and even in that video, I did remind people to think outside their bubble, knowing fully well that someone like Prince Harry has grown up as a part of the royal family, a prince. And to put it in context, he is in the line of succession. And I did pose to you or postulate a scenario whereby if Prince Harry was called upon to serve by the monarch, he would, and I know a lot of you may not want to hear this, he would not be able to say a flat out no. So always keep that open in the back of your mind, because I would liken this to, for example, something that some of you may be able to relate to in America. There is a saying that they serve at the pleasure of the president. You put all that person's needs first, right? And I think in the same vein, or perhaps even it's on steroids at that level, thinking of the British monarchy, which is, I think, the oldest form of government in the United Kingdom, and Prince Harry growing up in that system is someone who is duty bound. That is drilled into him. And those born into that, they strongly feel the burden of that position. It's not something they can just cast off. There's always that sense of duty that is in them. Think of it also this way. There was a quote I read that was so interesting to me. And it said, quote, "While the British government is in practice elected, it is, quote, His or Her Majesty's government. The opposition, meanwhile, is His or Her Majesty's loyal opposition," in quotes. "All army officers, government ministers, senior civil servants, judges swear allegiance to the crown, not to parliament, not to the people," right? But remember, they're always told that the monarchy for them is merely ceremonial and, for tourism and all that. But of course, there is the reality of the situation. That is, the royal family is the peak of the class system in the UK. And Prince Harry was born into that. So you can just imagine the kind of perspectives they have in that institution. And as much as Prince Harry has said it time and time again that he has moved on, that, he is building his life with Meghan in the US, there will always be that possibility that if his father, King Charles, emphasis on he is the peak of government, he is the top guy, in that system in the UK, calls upon Prince Harry to serve, he will never be able to give him a flat no. In that scenario, King Charles is not Prince Harry's daddy-o, he is his sovereign, his monarch, and that is that strange dichotomy that I think a lot of people sometimes still even don't grasp. Just think about Prince Harry talking about how he would bow to his grandmother and he had never even hugged her. And as much as he wanted to, he could not cross that line. So there is that sense that they are duty bound. There is the sense that they are always conscious of tradition and precedent. If no one hugged the Queen, he would never ever think of breaking any of those rules. Even if he wanted to hug her with his whole heart, she was his sovereign. So as odd as that might be to a lot of people to think about, some people that might be just normal. I'm just reminding us of that. Everyone's sense of normalcy is so vastly different, as we all know, and what is so commonplace and standard in one culture or paradigm or thought process in one culture or place may not necessarily translate elsewhere. I think we all know this. This is quite true. Cultural differences in society and upbringing. And who knows if we will see that coming into play with Harry's future and his children. And I'm hoping that people will understand whatever choices Prince Harry will make for him and for his family moving forward. And of course, yes, we know what Harry and Meghan have been up against in the UK with the tabloids, with the negativity. So this is quite complex, and I am praying for this couple that God will guide and protect them in all of their choices, because it's quite evident that right now they are needed, and people in the UK are starting to realize that their gem is no longer front and center. And who knows if we will start seeing a move to have Harry and Meghan coming back into the fold. And it is a pair. Prince Harry is not coming back without Meghan. So yeah, I'm just hoping that the Sussex squad go easy on, Harry, especially in this instance as a prince, as someone born royal, with his perspectives and upbringing and thought processes, and just not go so ham on him if he chooses something that doesn't align with your perspectives or background, wherever everyone's watching from. But above all, I do want them to be safe, them and their kids. We don't want them to be scapegoated, and we don't want to see a repeat of what was happening to them. So, as I said, quite complex, and I want to know your thoughts on this. Just reminding us of that, everyone's sense of normalcy, and the thought that he can just break free of that system as well, if that's someone's paradigm out there. I'm just trying to, keep it real and have us all remember to think outside the bubble or our bubbles, and consider that right now, a lot of these royal experts and, as I said, the image makers for the royal family, they recognize a huge gap with the loss of the Queen, with that lineup you've seen over there in that picture, and knowing the star power that Prince Harry had. And the Queen saw it. She tried to get Harry and Meghan, they're in the Commonwealth. We all know how Prince Harry is just so beloved in the Commonwealth nations and how they gravitate towards him and Meghan. So gals and guys out there, keep an open mind. We could very well see a future where Prince Harry and Meghan are somewhat folded back in. And I did take a poll with a couple of my viewers here on one of the last lives, and I asked you all the same question. Do you see Prince Harry and Meghan in some form returning to the royal family? In fact, I said here, do you think Harry and Meghan will ever rejoin the royal family, half in and half out? These were the results. 9% said yes, 67% said no, 25% said not sure. So, in all of your thoughts on that, we know that Harry and Meghan have been through quite a bit, but right now, if Harry was ever to return, this is something to rejoice about. He has something powerful called bargaining power. Yes, he couldn't say an outright no, but he would be able to say, these are the things I would want to see if we came back. He does have now bargaining power. He's not fiscally dependent on the royal family, so he comes at this with a lot of strength. So that's a good thing to consider as well, right? So thank you for watching this. Now share your thoughts in the comment section below. Before we log off, as always, I would like to thank those who support this channel financially. To my Patreon, PayPal, and membership supporters, I would like to say thank you. And I would like to shout out a couple of you by name. Thank you to Connie Balmer. Thank you so much for your love and your dear support. You mean so much. Thank you. God bless you, Connie. Thank you for how you're in the chat and for your comments. I do appreciate that as well. Thank you to Eldridge. I appreciate you for your generosity. Please accept my sincere thanks for all the support you've shown and for your faithfulness throughout the years supporting my work here. Thank you. You are so kind. Thank you to Barbara F. Smith as well. I thank you, and I'm so moved by your love and your kindness and for all the ways you've chosen to boost my work here. God bless you. And a special thank you to Lydia Washington, who is one of the channel moderators here on YouTube. You have been such a tremendous support to my work. So pivotal, and I want to say thank you. I value and I'm so grateful to God that you are in my life. God bless you, Lydia, and yours. Thank you so very much. A special thank you to now those who gave through super thanks. Thank you to Elaine Babb, who also is a supporter of this channel through membership. Thank you, thank you. Thank you for being so considerate and caring and supportive of my work. Once again, thank you to all who like, comment, and share, and to every new subscriber, thank you. Welcome aboard. And if you like this one, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, click subscribe. It truly does help out the channel. And if you want to watch more videos, be sure to click the links in the end screen and the cards, and I will see you there. Thank you all for watching, and I will catch you in the next one. Have a blessed one.